Hey everyone, Luca here. Or, well, that's what everyone calls me. My world used to spin on one axis. That axis was winning the Henderson Art Prize. It was everything I'd worked for. Years of sketching, painting, late nights. I poured my soul onto canvases. Then Ren appeared. Ren. Just his name made my teeth clench. He was the new star. Everyone at uni whispered about his talent, his effortless skill. It felt like he was stealing my dream, not his. Our rivalry wasn't a quiet thing. Oh no, it was loud. It was in every critique session. His art was bold, chaotic. Mine was detailed, precise. We were oil and water, or maybe fire and ice. I thought his work lacked discipline. He probably thought mine was boring. We never actually said these things, not directly, but you could feel it. Like a static charge in the air whenever we were in the same room. He'd get praise, I'd get a polite nod. It stung, every single time. The worst moment was last year's interim showcase. I had this piece. It was my heart. I'd spent months on it. A detailed cityscape, every window a tiny story. Then Ren unveiled his. A massive, abstract explosion of color. It was raw emotion. The tutors raved. Someone even called it genius. Genius! My cityscape suddenly felt small, insignificant. I saw him glance at me, just a quick look. Was that a smirk? I was sure it was. That look cemented him as my nemesis. So, yeah, Ren was the obstacle. The mountain I had to climb, or more accurately, the ridiculously talented artist I had to beat. I tried to focus on my work, I really did, but he was always there, a shadow in the corner of my eye. A benchmark I secretly measured myself against. It was exhausting. This constant battle, this simmering resentment. I just wanted him to disappear, or at least for his art to suddenly become terrible. A bit mean, I know, but that's how it felt. Life has a funny way of shaking things up. One rainy Tuesday, I was at my usual coffee spot, the one with the comfy chairs and the good hot chocolate. I was sketching, trying to forget about Ren and the prize, just for an hour. The bell above the door jingled. I didn't look up, not until someone cleared their throat, right beside my table. It was him, Ren. My heart did a weird little jump. Not a good jump, more like a startled rabbit jump. He looked different, not like the art school rival. He looked a bit lost. His hair was damp from the rain. He wasn't smirking. He just looked tired. "Is this seat taken?" he asked. His voice was softer than I expected. I just shook my head, numbly. He sat down. We didn't speak for ages, just the sound of rain and my pencil scratching. It was awkward. So awkward. Why was he here, of all places? Then he did something really odd. He pointed at my sketchbook. "That's really good," he said. I nearly dropped my pencil. Ren? Complimenting me? Was this a trick? I mumbled a thanks. He started talking about the rain, about how it made the city colors look different. He wasn't talking about art, not really, just observing, like a normal person. It was strange. I saw a flicker of something else, not arrogance, just him. After that, things felt a tiny bit less spiky. We'd nod if we passed each other in the halls, no more glares, well, fewer glares from my side anyway. I started to wonder. Maybe he wasn't a complete monster, maybe he was just a guy who was annoyingly good at art. But still, a guy. It was a confusing thought, one I tried to push away, but it kept coming back, like a catchy song you don't want to like. The universe really does have a twisted sense of humor. Professor Davies announced a new project, a collaborative mural, for the local community center. And guess who I was paired with? Yep, Ren. My jaw practically hit the floor. Ren just raised an eyebrow. He looked almost amused. I wanted to scream, or run, or maybe both. Work with him, my rival? This was a nightmare. A brightly colored, paint-splattered nightmare. Our first planning session was a disaster. I wanted calm, structured. He wanted wild, expressive. We argued about everything. Colors, themes, techniques. "It needs more energy," he'd say. "It needs a plan," I'd retort. It felt like our usual rivalry. But now we were stuck together. We had to find a way, or fail. And failing this project wasn't an option for either of us. The thought made my stomach churn. Slowly, very slowly, we started to listen. Just a little. He'd sketch an idea. I'd refine it. I'd suggest a color palette. He'd find a way to make it pop. It was like a really difficult dance. We kept stepping on each other's toes. But sometimes, just sometimes, we found a rhythm. I saw how passionate he was, not just about winning, but about creating, about making something beautiful. It was surprising. One afternoon, we were working late, covered in paint, tired. We were looking at a section we'd finally agreed on, a blend of his bold shapes and my careful details. And it worked. It actually looked good. He smiled, a real smile, not a smirk, and I smiled back. It felt weird. Good weird. Like discovering a new flavor you never thought you'd enjoy. Maybe, just maybe, this collaboration wouldn't be so bad after all. The mural project ended. We actually got a good grade, and the community center loved it, which was nice. Really nice. But then a strange thing happened. I missed him. I missed Ren. I missed our bickering. Our weird, paint-splattered brainstorming sessions. The art studio felt empty. Quieter. My focus on the Henderson Prize felt different. Less about beating him, more about something else. I couldn't quite name it. I started noticing him more, not as a rival, but as Ren. The way his brow furrowed when he was concentrating. The way he'd chew on the end of his pencil. The rare, genuine laugh that would escape when someone told a silly joke. These were small things. Tiny details. But they started to fill my thoughts. It was confusing. And a bit scary. I was supposed to dislike him. Weren't we enemies? This wasn't part of the plan. One evening I saw him at the library. He was sketching, but not art school stuff. He was drawing characters. Funny cartoonish things. He looked so absorbed, so happy. I almost went over. Almost, but I hesitated. What would I say? Hi, rival. I secretly think your doodles are adorable. Yeah, no, that wouldn't work. But the urge was there. A strange pull. A desire to know this other side of him. The Henderson Prize deadline was looming. We were back to being competitors. Officially. But something had shifted. The animosity felt forced. Like an old coat that didn't quite fit anymore. I'd catch his eye across the studio. There was a new awareness. A tension. But it wasn't just rivalry. It was something else. Something warmer. Something that made my heart beat a little faster. This was getting complicated. Really complicated. Section 5. The words that slipped out. Stress levels were high. The final submission for the Henderson Prize was only a week away. I was a mess. My main piece felt wrong. All wrong. I'd been staring at it for hours. Days, even. It was like my creativity had just packed its bags and left. I was in the studio late one night, feeling utterly defeated, ready to just give up. The fluorescent lights hummed, mocking me. I felt tears pricking my eyes. How pathetic. Suddenly the door creaked open. It was Ren. He had that look again, the concerned one, not the rival one. You okay, Luca? He asked. His voice was gentle, too gentle. I just sort of broke. The words tumbled out. About the pressure, the fear of failure, how I felt like I was drowning. I didn't mean to say so much, but I couldn't stop. It was like a dam bursting. All my carefully constructed walls just crumbled. He didn't say anything at first. He just listened, really listened. Then he walked over. He looked at my canvas. It's not as bad as you think, he said. He pointed out a few things, suggested a different approach. He wasn't being critical. He was being helpful. Genuinely helpful. And then, in my emotional, overwhelmed state, I said it. Why are you being so nice to me? I thought we were supposed to hate each other. But sometimes I think I trailed off, horrified. Ren stared at me, his eyes wide. Oh God, what had I done? I wanted the ground to swallow me whole. You think you what, Luca? He asked. His voice was quiet, so quiet. I couldn't meet his eyes. I just shook my head, mortified. This was it, the end of everything. He'd laugh or tell me I was crazy. But he didn't. He just stood there, and the silence was filled with a million unspoken things that made my stomach flip. The air in the studio was thick, so thick you could almost touch it. After my disastrous almost confession, I expected Ren to run, or laugh, or I don't know, call the art school psychoanalyst. But he just looked thoughtful. Then he said, maybe we could talk? Properly? Not about art or prizes. I stared at him. Was he serious? After everything? After all the rivalry? Like, get coffee? I managed to squeak out. He nodded. Yeah, coffee sounds good. Our not-a-date coffee was awkward. At first, we sat there, stirring our drinks, avoiding eye contact, like two strangers, which, in a way, we were. Strangers who knew far too much about each other's competitive streaks. But then Ren started talking about his family, his dog, his secret love for cheesy sci-fi films. I told him about my nan's terrible knitting, and my fear of pigeons, stupid things, normal things. And we laughed. Properly laughed. Not polite chuckles, but actual, honest-to-goodness laughter. It felt liberating, like taking off heavy armor I didn't even realize I was wearing. He had this amazing smile. It crinkled the corners of his eyes. I'd never really noticed it before, or maybe I'd never allowed myself to notice. He wasn't just Ren, the art rival. He was Ren. Funny, kind, a bit nerdy Ren. And I liked him. I really, really liked him. As we were leaving, our hands brushed, just for a second. But it was like an electric shock, a tiny spark that shot up my arm. I looked at him. He was looking at me. And there it was again. That awareness, that unspoken something. But this time, it wasn't scary. It was exciting. Hopeful. I'll, see you around, I said. He smiled. That amazing smile again. Definitely, he replied. And I knew something had changed. For good. Things moved pretty quickly after that coffee. More coffees followed, then walks in the park, late-night talks where we shared dreams and fears. The Henderson Prize was still there, looming, but it didn't feel like a wall between us anymore. It was just a thing, something we were both doing, separately, but we were together in other ways, ways that mattered more. The tension was still there, but it was a different kind, a good kind, full of anticipation. One evening we were at my flat. We'd ordered pizza. We were watching some silly film, the kind Ren loved. I wasn't really watching it, though. I was watching him, the way the light flickered across his face, the way he bit his lip when he was trying not to laugh. He turned to say something, and our eyes met and held. The air crackled. That unspoken language was louder than ever. He leaned in, slowly, hesitantly, and I met him halfway. His lips were soft, softer than I imagined. The kiss was tentative at first, exploring, questioning. Then it deepened. All the unspoken feelings, the confusion, the rivalry, the hesitant friendship, the growing affection. It all poured into that kiss. It was more than just physical. It was a conversation, a confession, a promise. My hands found their way into his hair, his arms wrapped around my waist, pulling me closer. It felt right. So incredibly right, like finding a missing piece. Later, lying tangled together in my bed, the city lights painting soft stripes across the room, I felt a sense of peace I hadn't felt in years. His head was on my chest. I could feel his steady breathing. The silence wasn't awkward anymore. It was comfortable, full. This was Ren, not my rival, not just my friend, but something more, something new, something precious. And as I drifted off to sleep, I knew this was just the beginning. Our beginning. Hey everyone, Ren here. I guess Luca's told you a lot, hasn't he? It's funny hearing it from his side. I guess I never really thought of myself as a nemesis. Intense, maybe. Competitive, definitely. But not a villain. From my perspective, Luca was the one to watch. His skill was incredible. That precision, that dedication. I was a bit in awe of it, if I'm honest. My style is more throw paint and hope for the best sometimes. He always seemed so sure, so focused. That day in the coffee shop, I was having a terrible day. My big project idea had just imploded. I felt like a fraud. Seeing Luca there, so engrossed in his sketchbook, I nearly walked out. But I was tired of the stupid rivalry. Tired of the glares. I just wanted a quiet coffee. When I complimented his sketch, I meant it. It was brilliant. And seeing that surprised look on his face, it was nice. Like I'd chipped away a tiny bit of that wall between us. The mural project was interesting. I knew we'd clash. We were opposites in so many ways. But I also saw how much he cared. About the art. About doing it right. I admired that. And yeah, arguing with him was frustrating. But it was also stimulating. He challenged me. Made me think. And when we finally found that rhythm, that blend of our styles, it felt good. Really good. I started to see Luca. Not just Luca the artist, but Luca the person. And his almost confession in the studio. I was stunned. But also, not entirely surprised. There had been moments. Little sparks. I'd felt them too. This weird pull towards him. I was just as confused as he was. I'd been trying to ignore it. To focus on the prize. But when he looked so vulnerable, so lost, all I wanted to do was make it better. To tell him it was okay. That maybe, just maybe, I felt something too. Something more than rivalry. That first kiss. Yeah, that was something. For years, Luca was this fixed point in my universe. The rival, the benchmark, the person I secretly measured myself against. And then suddenly, he was just Luca. Warm. Real. Kissing him felt like coming home. Like something I hadn't even realized I was searching for had just clicked into place. All that tension, all that unspoken stuff between us, finally had an outlet. And it was better than I could have imagined. Much better. The Henderson Prize? Well, neither of us won. Someone else entirely got it, and you know what? It didn't even matter. Not really. We were sitting together when they announced it. He just squeezed my hand, and I squeezed back. We had found something so much more important than any prize. We had found each other. And that felt like the biggest win of all. It sounds cheesy, I know. But it's true. So true. Now we have our own studio. It's a bit messy, a bit chaotic, a perfect blend of his neatness and my everything elseness. We still bicker sometimes about who left the paint tubes uncapped or whose turn it is to make tea. But it's different now. It's fond, it's loving. We create together, sometimes on the same canvas, sometimes on our own, but always supporting each other, always there for each other. He's my best friend, my biggest inspiration. Our future? I see lots of paint, lots of laughter, maybe a dog. Luca's not sure about the dog yet, but I'm working on him. I see us traveling, seeing the world, filling sketchbooks with our adventures, growing old together, still arguing about art, still loving each other. It's a good picture, a really good picture, and I can't wait to keep drawing it, with him, every single day. He's my favorite work in progress, and my masterpiece.